So they were a social service agency who about in 2019 said, hey, we need to take care of this population for kids aging out of care. So they built 3 tiny homes. Mayor Garnett Johnson saw him on CBS News, I think it was, and he texted me. He said, turn on the news. It's an organization out in Oklahoma doing exactly what you're trying to do. So I got on the phone with those guys out in Oklahoma, and Joe and I traveled and
Welcome to the Building Community Podcast. Today, I'm so excited to welcome Dr. Jackson Drumgold with Bridge Builders Communities. Welcome.
Well, hey, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We're glad to have you. So tell us, what is Bridge Builders?
So Bridge Builder Community. So we're building the city's first tiny home community for young adults aging out of the foster care system right here in Augusta, providing mental health counseling, workforce initiatives, life skills training, and all that's needed for the young adults to transition successfully into adulthood.
I literally have little just chills just to hear. I mean, what an incredible vision. And how did this, I mean, were you just sitting at your house one day and like, oh, I think I'm going to go do this? Like, how did we get to this?
Having a glass of wine and
let's go do this. Telling your beautiful wife, like, hey, let's go.
Yeah, not at all. It's interesting. So my family members were in foster care and were in orphanages right here in the city of Augusta. So I grew up in that space, right? I grew up in that world, but I was I was the big cousin in not knowing that all of my family members, all of my cousins were just suffering, going through the foster care system, kinship care, all through Boys Town, Nebraska. And I saw the mental abuse, the emotional abuse, the physical abuse, the sexual abuse. And at 18, 19 years old, it just fell on me that this is my problem to solve. And I had no clue how I was going to solve this problem. All I saw, and I promise you this, all I saw was me standing outside of a neighborhood and saying, the kids are okay now. And that's all I had to go off of. And so for the next 20, 30, 40 years, I just tried to walk myself into that. How do I do this? And so it came out of a real need. And so when I retired from the military in April of 22, and returned back to the city of Augusta, my wife, she said, hey, you've been talking about this ever since I've known you, so let's go. Let's get started. And so we did.
Let's go. I love it. I love it. So thank you for your service to the military. We're so appreciative because that is a very selfless, thankless job, and your family, because it's a sacrifice to them as well. Yeah.
It is.
So where was your last station before you came back to Augusta?
Before I came back to Augusta, I was stationed in Pyeongtaek, South Korea.
Wow.
And I was supposed to go back to the Pentagon to finish my assignment, and then I got the calling that I needed to come back to Augusta. Yeah. And so we came back to Augusta and retiring from Army Cyber.
Yeah. That's amazing. So the community, it's under construction. Where are we in that process? Tell us a little bit, maybe exactly, not exactly maybe, but where it's located in Augusta.
So located in Midtown in the medical district, right off of Central Avenue, between Central Avenue and Walton Way on Mary Street. So you can literally see Richmond Academy from the park. It was old Central Park there in Augusta. We were able to get the park from the city of Augusta, and we have now, we have 26 tiny houses there. We have the foundation for the community building, 5,000 square foot community building. We have amazing builders that are working on it. I'm sure I'll get a chance to shout my friends out later, but the construction is underway. We should have certificate of occupancies on a few of them here in the next few weeks.
That's
and
incredible.
Then bounce over on the other side and do the same thing. And by September of this year, we should have a full-fledged community.
That's amazing. Yeah. So I had been hearing your name and this buzz about Bridge Builders and a couple people that mutual friends of ours that knew me was like, y'all need to meet, or we need to meet. So, and then Joe Gambrell was in the mix. I know he's a help on your board.
Yeah, Joe's
and so somebody reached out and said, hey, will you meet? And I was like, absolutely. I've been wanting to find out what that is and what. So you and Joe come here to the office one day and we're talking, and I remember you're like, I just want to find, some builders that might be interested in building one of our tiny homes.
Yeah.
And I was like, one, thinking of how builders work and, what, doing one where they could do 5 or 10 or and I just said, well, I think you should ask for 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, that, and you're like, oh,
okay.
Y'all kind of looked at, okay. Didn't sure. I said, because in a builder's world, if they're going to build one, it's just not easy, but as far as material, like, 1 to 5, it's like in neighborhoods, it's a process.
Yeah.
And then you brought on, a few incredible partners. Let's get into those who are members of our association. So tell us who your builders are.
Well, first of all, let me tip my hat to you. Thank you so much for leading that effort and pulling on that for me. Because I wouldn't have even had that ask.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even know to have that ask. So, to your point, Bill Beasley Homes. They've come alongside and they've already built 11 amazing homes on one side, and then Ivy Homes on the other side, building 15 beautiful homes on that side. And then we have R.W. Allen right there in the center, working on the community building, Site Master doing all the site prep work, and then Newsom Electric, and then all of the hundreds of subs that are out there. But for you to say, pull everybody on to one table, let's have a conversation.
Yeah. That's really, the epitome of building community. Yeah, Bill Beasley Homes celebrating 50 years in business this year, and Ivy Homes celebrated 25 last year.
Wow.
But they're somewhat competitors. They're competing to selling houses in certain neighborhoods. And then, R.W. Allen does a little more, on the commercial side. But the fact that they both came to the tables and were like, we want to help, we want to see. I think it's just the epitome of building bridges, and building community.
And help me out with this. I was wondering about this. Is this their first time actually working together?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. On a build project.
On a build project.
Yeah. I don't know, and we'll have to ask Mark and Stephen or Matt or Mr. Bill. I don't know that they've ever built in the same neighborhood.
Wow.
Because Beasley usually develops their own neighborhoods.
Sure.
Ivy develops their own neighborhoods, for the most part.
Yeah.
That's a great point. That they've never, not that, it wasn't, but the fact that they're in one community together.
And what was so beautiful about it, and you orchestrated this too. I remember that day at the table where they said, okay, well, if we're gonna get all the doors, then you get the handles, you get the faucets, and they begin to work together.
Yeah.
To acquire all these things. So again, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank the building community.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Well, thank you for having that vision. Because we all have dreams or aspirations, at young ages or even, maybe now and you're like, well, I'm almost 50, I'm not really. But the fact that fire still burned in you all these years and that you are now seeing it to fruition is truly amazing, Jackson. And I'm honored to know you. I'm honored to be in a room with you where we see each other at places all over. But and to see what you've brought to the city of Augusta, who needs something new and exciting and refreshing, and to see that just because people need something doesn't mean they're bad people, and that they can cohabitate in a community together.
Absolutely. Well, I'm from the city. I'm born and raised here, so I know the beauty of our city. I know the generosity of our city. We're great people. I've always called it the tale of two cities. In some cases, Richmond County, Columbia County is that invisible line. Yeah. But that's what we do. We build bridges for a brighter future for everybody. We have several church partners, we have several business partners, several mission partners, and now building partners, and it doesn't matter. We're trying to solve community problems, and it's really not the government's job to take care of our families and take care of our children. It's the community's job to do that.
Amen.
And so that's what we're doing. That's what we're evidencing here.
Yeah. And so I think, going back on that, one of the things I thought that was so important that I really wanted to help y'all is the more money that y'all have raised that could actually go to the services and the things that the kids. So it's okay, builders, lumber companies, what can y'all give so that we keep the cost down? But you just mentioned, tell us a little bit about what this community is going to look like for a resident, for somebody that's coming out, and what. That's
great.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
I'm going to share a few stats first, if you don't mind. There are 11,000 kids in the foster care system in the state of Georgia, right?
You said 11,000.
11,000.
Wow.
Right. There's about 570 age out year after year. When a young adult ages out of care, several things happen. 85% of them have some form of mental health illness due to adverse childhood experiences. Those adverse childhood experiences can mean anything from hunger to displacement to abuse, all of those things, right? 71% of the young ladies become pregnant by the time they're 21 years old.
Wow.
55% of the kids become homeless almost instantly, and 65% of the kids that are coming out of foster care nationally, they end up in sex trafficking. Here in Augusta, the number is 75% or higher, right there on the I-20 corridor in Boy Scout Road there. If you can go, you can drive down there, you can see the people. So there's sex trafficking. 25% of the kids that age out of foster care have some form of engagement with the justice system, thereby starting the whole foster care to prison pipeline, where 87 to 92% of the individuals you see in prison today come out of fatherless homes or come out of foster care. That's the real issues. Those are the stats.
Those are real numbers.
Those are real numbers.
I don't know if y'all can see, I'm a little overwhelmed with emotion just hearing those numbers, because that just is heartbreaking to me.
Those are real numbers. Those are real numbers.
Yeah.
And so we've recently launched our intake screening form all across the state of Georgia. And so we're screening different agencies and organizations, Department of Family and Children's Services, DJJ, group homes, churches, and saying, hey, we're opening the gates, send us your kids, right? And so those kids, once they come into our screening portal, we determine who's best suited for our neighborhood, okay? So this neighborhood, we can't handle children with children, but they're 18 to 24 years old. They've aged out of foster care, or they've been homeless at some point. They have to go to school and or work at least 20 hours a week.
Okay.
All right. We do an individual success plan for each young adult once they come in, and we determine you're suited for the community. Individual success plan. We do a mental health assessment. We do an aptitude assessment and a partnership assessment, and we determine what their natural proclivities are, where they want to work, where they want to go to school. We've already partnered with Augusta University, Augusta Technical College, and all the Georgia State schools. They can go to any Georgia State school free of charge, from GED all the way to master's level.
Wait, for free?
For free 99.
That's incredible.
Yeah, this legislation,
like, you just gave these kids an opportunity they probably never thought they had.
And again, so for any community change, and again, I didn't create this law, but in any community change, you have to have three pillars, right? You have to have inspiration. That's what I bring to the party.
Amen. Right? Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Administration, I try to bring that to the party. Yeah. But then you have legislation, right? You have to have all those things in place. And so there's legislation in place to help this population. But the interesting thing about it, no one knew about it, and it's specifically the kiddos. They don't know. So when we go over and do presentations at Augusta Tech or at Augusta University, and I say, hey, who are these kids in foster care? And a kid will raise their hand, and I'll say, did you know you can go to school for free? They're like, no, I had no clue. I'm using my financial aid.
So there's kids right now at Augusta University that are in the foster care system. Absolutely. And that are paying, or probably took out loans. And you just help them. And
we say, no, you don't have, no. There's legislation in place to take care of you, to make sure you're okay. It takes care of your housing, takes care of your transportation.
Wow.
So folks can argue all they want to about the politics, but no,
right.
There's legislation in place taking care of this population, but those taking advantage of it. So that's what we're doing. We're bringing in all the scaffolding and the supports for this population. So again, let's say, so now John, he's on a bridge, he's in Bridge Builder. We assign him a home. They don't sign a lease agreement, they sign a program agreement, right? Because they have to be a part of a program. The housing portion is about 20%, because housing is the first part of dignity.
Amen.
Safety, security, and stability.
Yeah. A roof over heads. That's what I say. Yeah.
So each home, and this needs to be mentioned as well, each home is completely furnished. We have some amazing partners, church partners, business partners that have come alongside and say, hey, we'll provide this. Ministry partners all over the place that have said, we'll provide all the bedding, towels, pots, pans, dishes, everything they need.
Yeah.
So they come into a completely furnished home, and then they start meeting with their success manager who lives there on site. So there's not just kids sitting there on site all day long playing around on the front porch eating Cheetos. No, that's not happening at all. Yeah. They have a program. They have life skills training they need. They go to work, they go to school, and then they come back home and they relax.
Yeah.
They come back home. And actually.
They have a house.
They have a house.
They
have a house. They have a house.
What size are these houses? Like, what are they?
These beautiful homes are 320 square feet.
Plenty
of room. I mean, honestly.
Kitchen.
Come on, somebody.
Bathroom.
Kitchen, bathroom. That's right.
Bedroom. Little living area.
Exactly
I mean,
right.
really. I mean, I asked Jackson a couple months ago, can I move in? Like, something
nice
to maintain. Yeah, they have everything you need.
Absolutely.
You just have to have 3 girls, so we wouldn't all fit on there.
But it's one resident per home.
Yeah.
It's plenty of space. It's plenty of space. I mean,
Plenty.
if it was a college dorm room, it'd be phenomenal for a college dorm room. And again, I did 30 years in the military, staying in the barracks.
You've slept in way less, way smaller, way worse. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And all brand new.
Everything brand new.
And then when someone lives there and then moves out, y'all replenish.
They take everything with them.
Okay, I want to get it. Yeah. Say that again.
Yeah.
So when you have a resident, they're ready to move on. What do y'all do?
Yeah. So when they're ready to move on, we make sure they've hit all their milestones, and they say, hey, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to get my first apartment or to move into my first house. We pack everything up. They take everything with them, and we help them to move. We help them to transition.
Wow, that's dishes, bedding,
pots, pan, bedding,
stuff
everything.
that costs a lot.
Absolutely.
That you go somewhere, like, oh, I don't have any dishes. Oh,
Right.
but now they do. I mean, you just gave them another leg up.
Absolutely, and not only that, but now they leave with a community that cares for them, and a whole city cheering for them.
Amen.
Everywhere they go.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing about this. It's now they have Auntie Tiffany they can call, and they call you and they say, hey, I'm trying to buy this. I found this new Mustang. It's 27% interest. Can I have it?
No,
Absolutely.
you cannot. Yeah.
And that's the right answer. That's the right answer.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
Absolutely not.
So that's what this is about. It's not about housing only. It's not even about programming or mental health. It's about creating family for kids that never had family.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know this, and I think why I was a little overwhelmed with emotion is my oldest 2 children are adopted, and they were temporarily in the foster care system until I got to them, and I'm talking for a few days, and I remember making a phone call like, we can't, they were my nieces, but long story, I won't get into all that.
I got it.
But they were my nieces, and when my mom let me know that they were temporarily in foster care until she could get them, and I just immediately was like, we got to get them out of there because there are good people trying to do good things in the foster care system, but this was in South Carolina, and there was a story about a father who had murdered his children, and the Department of Social Services was involved, and there was an investigation. And that's all I had in my mind is like, something is going to happen to these girls, and I can't sleep at night without knowing. And then I got involved, and I was going to take them on temporarily, and here we are, 13 years later, and they're my girls.
That's right.
And but I just think about those things and those situations and heard of those stories. And like, I also think, because people will say like, you're incredible for doing that. I said, no, if that was me and I was in a bad situation, I would hope somebody would do that for my children if I would have had children. And that's the way I've always looked at it. It's like when you came to me, I was like, I want to help because I would hope somebody would help me. Like I just think about those things. And that's just,
I love it.
Just, again, that's what this is all about, is about building community. And you are doing just that.
Oh, we're doing it
with all the people around. I just think about all, like you said, like, have they ever worked together? No, there's a lot of people, different religions, different ethnic,
absolutely,
different backgrounds,
absolutely,
different beliefs,
absolutely,
different values, and they are all bridge building and building community.
They're all building community
because of this one idea, this one,
right.
And this is going to change lives.
We believe that. We believe that this is a pilot for this country.
Amen.
We really do.
I can't wait to see bridge builder communities
really
all
believe
throughout.
It's a pilot for the entire country.
I know. So, we talk a lot about housing and why that's important. And you mentioned it a little bit, but why is housing so important to kids like this?
Well, it is. It's the safety, security, and stability. It's a place where I can relax and lay my head down. I had to educate the city, educate even my board, because a lot of folks have never experienced displacement and those type of things. And so when we traveled, Joe Gamble and I, we traveled out he's my board chair and architect, and was with me from day one. Mm-hmm. We traveled out to Oklahoma City because it's an organization there called Pivot.
Okay.
Who's been doing the same thing that we're doing here for about 50 years. So they were a social service agency who about in 2019 said, hey, we need to take care of this population for kids aging out of care. So they built 3 tiny homes. Mayor Garnett Johnson saw him on CBS News, I think it was, and he texted me. He said, turn on the news. It's an organization out in Oklahoma doing exactly what you're trying to do. And so I got on the phone with those guys out in Oklahoma, and Joe and I traveled and went out. And
you had never heard of them before until the mayor?
Well, I told everybody in the city, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Before the ordinance was passed, before anything, I was like, this is what I want to do. And the ordinance hadn't been passed yet, and we hadn't allowed tiny homes, but everyone knows this is where we're trying to go. So we went out to Oklahoma, and Joe had those questions. Hey, who are these kids that we're serving? And they said, hey, you know what? You're not going to have to worry about smoking and drinking and wild sex, on site. The biggest problem you're going to have is alienation and isolation. Because when these kids get into their home, they just cocoon away because they've never had peace, they've never had quiet, they've only had chaos. Mm-hmm. And so that's the importance of a home, that they can get out of their shell, they can crawl out of their hard shell at 13, the one that society has created for them from 5, 6, 7 years old, and now they can just relax.
Yeah.
Most people don't know this, and I do this in some of my presentations. I'll carry a cowbell with me when I'm giving some talks, and I'm usually giving talks to like Rotary clubs and Kiwanis clubs and and church groups and these brilliant, hardworking businessmen and women. And I'll say, okay, every time I ring this bell, I need you to just grab one thing from your table and move to the next table, right? And I'll talk, bing, 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 and I'll get up and they'll move, right? And I'll talk, bing, 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 and they'll get up and they'll move. They grab the key, grab a pencil, grab something, right? About the third time I do it, they get irritated. Like, stop freaking ringing the bell, Jackson. And I say, well, just imagine that a foster kid has to move at least 9 to 14 times. Mm-hmm. 9 to 14 times.
Yeah.
From home to home, and they just have to grab a teddy bear, grab a bag, grab a book, grab a picture of their mom or a picture of their dad from anything that they've ever had to remind them of stability.
Yeah.
Housing gives that.
Yeah.
A stable housing gives that stability. It gives that sense of security. It gives that first part of dignity. A place I can live, a place I can love, a place I can launch. So that's how important the housing community is for us.
It is, because I think about like when you meet people, or that you've never met before, and especially like if you're out of town, what is the second, I'm Tiffany, and where are you from? Yep. Where do you live?
Where do you live?
Like, and these kids never had an answer for that, and that, I remember Emma, she's my middle kid, and I remember when I got her birthday's in January, so I got them in May, so that following January was her birthday, and we were planning, she was obsessed with My Little Pony at the time, and so we were having this My Little Pony party, and I remember like one day she was sitting in the kitchen, I heard her crying, and I ran in there, I was like, what is wrong? She was just like, I've never had a birthday. And she was 5, and I was just like, what? Like, it never, clicked. I've never had a birthday cake. And I'm like, it's just those little things that we take for granted.
That's right.
She had never had her own room or own this or own that or whatever it was. And I was just like, never had, and that just of course I had to go to the bathroom and hide and cry for a minute and then get myself together.
Exactly.
But you're like, these people have never, they get to put an address now on their license or on their ID.
I live here. I live here.
Yeah, that's
You
incredible.
said something that's interesting, and one of our community partners, they saw that I was posting pictures of everyone. I don't know if you had the community partners came out and they put scriptures on the walls and scriptures on the floor, encouraging words. And one of our community partners called me. She said, Jackson, take pictures of that, and I need you to put that inside of a binder or a photo album and leave it in the houses for every kid. She said, because that was my story. I was a foster kid. I never had anything of my own. No one ever did anything specifically for me. When I go to different foster homes, I'd use Susan's pillow. I'd use Bob's, hairbrush. She said, I never had anything of my own. She said, so make certain that you specify that this is made specifically for you, and we thought about you from day one.
So there are a lot of organizations, nonprofits doing really great work in our community. And we were talking, side note, we were taking a little break just a minute ago, and you said something really, how can all of you work together?
What's interesting, like so when I came back to the city, that's the first thing I did was to kind of gauge what everyone was doing. Like, true enough, we have the most nonprofits,
We do.
I believe, in the country.
Yeah, for the
Per capita. Because the need is there.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing we didn't want to do was to recreate the wheel. We didn't, no duplicative efforts, right? And so we had to find out where are the gaps. And so the gaps for us was a housing piece.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the mental health portion, I said, hey, listen, why don't we just partner with Serenity Mental Health or other mental health agencies? And so we wrote MOUs with all the mental health agencies. Do we need to bring medical here? And we say, well, not necessarily need to bring medical here, but I tell you what we can do. We can partner with Medical Associates Plus, and they can bring their mobile medical unit here on site. And so they said, yeah, we'll provide everything from dermatology to dental,
Wow.
free of charge to the young adult,
Wow.
right? Do we need to bring credentialing and educational opportunities? Well, no, we have several colleges here, so why don't we just write MOUs with Augusta Tech and Augusta University? And so we did just that. And so we partner with every agency from Augusta locally grown, to take care of the food piece, Black Farm Street to help them to plant healthy food, Rise Augusta for their literacy training. So we partner with every nonprofit here who would love to partner with us.
Yeah.
And we wrote MOUs and MOAs with everyone so that they can serve our youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, building community.
Building community.
And bringing community to community.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
That's
exactly right.
It just, yeah.
Right.
So how can people get involved with Bridge Builders? How can they help?
Yeah.
Because I know the need, this, one of the things that, is bright and shiny for a little while, and I don't want this to lose its luster because there's always going to be a need for these kids.
Yes.
So how can we help?
So we'll start a few things. So you mentioned birthdays earlier, right? So we had one beautiful couple that one of our church partners said, hey, listen, you give us a list of everyone's birthday and we're going to come and celebrate them individually, right?
So important.
Exactly.
It's the look, because there are probably a lot of those kids that have never had a birthday party.
Never had a birthday party, never had a birthday cake.
Yeah.
So then we had another organization say, hey, we have a wood shop group that meets every Thursday. Can we make all the desk, tables, and chairs for each home? So they've been doing that for the past year and a half, and they will be ready. They're in a storage facility right now waiting for us, a beautiful group led
with hands
on the work.
That wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so there are multiple ways to partner. We had several groups come and make quilts for us. So we have 90 quilts right now in storage. Every young adult gets a quilt. But then we have our brick campaign right on site. That each brick represents a story, right? And we have a space for about 1,000 bricks, and they're about $200 each. But that memorializes your legacy forever on site there. So they can go on the website and they can do that. We also have coming up, which I'm super excited about, our gala. May 16th this year.
The second
gala.
Yeah.
It's going to be at the Bell Auditorium this year. So we're looking for sponsorships. We're looking for silent auction items and live auction items. So if a business wants to partner with us, go to our website and find the link there. They can purchase a sponsorship table, or they can become a presenting sponsor as well. So multiple ways they can connect with us. I don't want to limit anyone.
Yeah. I'll be there. I've secured my table. I every year, as long as it's gala, I will be there just to celebrate this great work.
And we want to celebrate and honor our builders who came alongside Mark Ivey and Bill Beasley and RW Allen, all the team.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we honor them.
Yeah. And get your bricks. It was a great way. I did one for my girls. It's a great way just to, have a piece and show all these kids that we're rooting for you, and we're surrounding you with prayer and love and just all the things. So my other favorite part by talking, besides just talking to you, is rapid fire, because I think now, and you probably see it, I get it, when it's Tiffany with the Home Builders, you're Jackson with Bridge Builders, but I think this is a fun way to learn a little bit more about who Jackson is. So, coffee or energy drinks?
Coffee.
Okay.
Coffee. I do a tall blonde roast.
Okay.
With 2 packs of honey and coconut milk.
Okay, very specific.
Very specific.
And you don't you like kind of mild coffee, not too bold.
Not too bold, but strong enough and offensive enough to wake me up. You know what I mean? Yeah.
To get you going.
And I can do coffee 12 o'clock at night and still go to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reading or listening, like our podcast?
Listening.
Listening,
Yes.
okay.
I'm an audiobook guy. I'm a podcast guy. So I spend most of my time on the road.
Yes.
And so that's what I do. That's my I call my car is my classroom.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what are you reading or listening to right now?
I have about 3 of them in rotation. I have about 3 of them in rotation right now. But just some fun books, and sometimes it's just some fun books that I'll just read. But then you see some CEO books on how to become a better leader, and just different things at different times. And I always ask myself, what do I need right now to be a better me?
Yeah. What is one thing that people do not know about you?
I'm an introvert. Yeah, you would no one would guess that.
Right.
I spend all of my time by myself. I listen. I can go into the woods for 3 days, and
you would be just fine.
Oh God, some wood and a chair so I can sit by the water, sit by a tree. That is my peaceful place. Yeah.
If you could do one thing, like didn't matter how much money or what the need, besides what you're doing right now, what would that be?
So that's the thing about it. Everyone has always asked me that question. I spent 30 years in the military, and they'd ask that question. I was a college professor for 12 years, and they asked that question. I've said that I would raise kids.
Love that.
If I could do anything for the rest of my life, I would buy a huge farm, and I would raise the next generation.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, so I'm living in my self-actualization right now.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm really curious about this one because I have my suspicions, but are you an early bird or a night owl?
Right now, both. But right now,
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Right now, both. Both. But I'm an early bird. I wake up every morning 3:30 a.m. And
I knew it because that military in you. Y'all are. A majority of y'all are early birds because it got ingrained in you.
Yeah, that got ingrained. But for the past 25 years, I can go to bed at 2:47 a.m. and I'll just pop up at 3:30.
Don't even have to set an alarm?
I don't set an alarm. Just pop up at 3:30. Now, trust me, I don't stay up. I'll get up and I'll do some things between 3:30 and 6, and then 6 o'clock kind of get my life together again. But I'm an early guy. That's what I can think. I need that quiet space so I can think. I can pray. I can talk to the Father. I can talk to myself. I can talk myself off of a ledge.
Yeah.
But that's that time where nobody's bothering me, and I can just hear clearly.
Yeah. One other thing, favorite guilty pleasure, like food, TV show. What is that?
God, red wine.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. They say it's good for your heart.
That's my excuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
mine too.
That's it.
Yep. So as we wrap up today, Jackson, I'm so grateful to have you on here today and to really call you a friend, a mentor, and just so excited to be tied into this community. But as we wrap up, tell us how Dr. Jackson Drumgold and Bridge Builders is building community.
We're building community one house at a time, one heart at a time, by mixing what I like to say, empathy, compassion with structure and strategy. Yeah.
I mean, I love it. Love it. Thank you for what you're doing. It is thankless, selfless, hard work, and we're just so appreciative that you brought all of these partners, the entire community together for these kids. So thank you so much.
Thank you for everything that you do. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening to Building Community Podcast.